Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Beer Inside, back to the bubble editions of the episodes. Since we're currently still under lockdown in Canada, we are doing online interviews. And joining me today out of Vancouver, but British Columbia, is Mega Beerman.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. We'll be speaking about your Instagram and stuff. Normally we share a virtual beer, but you informed me pre-show you're actually doing a dry January.
That's right. And I'm deciding to have some local kombucha. It's called Hoochie Booch. That's been a new vice that I've launched into. So being dry this month means more local coffee shops and local kombucha instead of the beer, which has been okay. I miss it, but it's nice to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, and technically kombucha is a fermented craft beverage. So
there's like 1% alcohol content in there. So,
and we are about drinking local and supporting craft in every way. So we'll do that. I am personally not having a dry January. I'm having from one of the more across Canada breweries. I have Collective Arts IPA number 15.
We get a lot of that over here. That's great stuff.
Yeah. So it's a double IPA with Citra and Simcoe. We'll still do this. We're going to do a virtual toast.
Cheers.
So, cheers.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Cling.
Ding. Thanks for having me on the show.
Like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time and joining us today. So what made you decide beer Instagram?
The beer Instagram was a really funny but natural evolution. When I met my now fiance, she was actually more into the craft beer than I was. I was just kind of like grabbing whatever was there on the shelf, something that had a cool can, but I didn't know much about the local breweries. She was an enthusiast, and then we started going, for bike tours and stuff like that around East Vancouver, where there's a lot of breweries. They actually call it East Van. So after we started visiting all the local breweries, I started to really love it. And I found myself posting more and more pictures of beer. And then eventually there was more pictures of beer than there was almost anything else on my Instagram feed. So I just slowly kind of transitioned into being about 95% beer, I would say I post now, with a little of other like local interest stuff peppered in just to have some variety, because I don't have really have a secondary account. So yeah, I'd say that's kind of how it all started. And then it just kind of became a fun creative outlet too. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. So.
Yeah, I love the creativity they count. I mean, we are called beer geeks after all. We're not, I find more people are calling us beer geeks than beer snobs. And, with geekdom, I personally have my own stuff in the background. I have a nice luchador mask. I have all my Star Wars and other stuff in the background. You have a Captain America shield. Obviously, combining the kind of geekdom with the beer geek thing is really, really stands out, and it's very creative what you do.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Being a collector, it only makes sense to kind of combine that stuff with some of the craft beer, because there's so many cool cans and so many cool names that kind of relate to stuff that I like. So it only feels natural to combine them.
Yeah, no, it's great. And like I said, I mean, I'm a Star Wars guy at heart. I know the Star Trek folks, Will Wheaton made a stout with the brewery in the States, but there's more wine related to Star Trek. Star Trek than Star Wars. So just being a Star Wars guy, out of Ontario, there's People's Pint, and they have a mango fett beer.
Yeah,
and it's the design. So my own personal geekdom sticks with your account. That's why I was like, I gotta speak to you at some point. And even the name Mega Beerman, for those not in the know, where did that come from, and why Mega Beerman?
Well, my favorite video game series of all time is Mega Man. Who's that? You of course know, but for the people that don't, he's this started as a Nintendo Entertainment System back in 1988. They created the character, and there's been more than 30 or 40 Mega Man titles over the years, whether it was Mega Man, Mega Man X, Mega Man Z. Mm-hmm. And I always go back to those games because they're so difficult. Yes. And I feel like it's a real accomplishment to beat them. But I love the character because they've made him cool, they've made him dorky, they've done all these different things with him. But there's something unique about Mega Man himself. He's always kind of this blue robot with an arm cannon. He doesn't really change. They don't really change the formula, and I love that. I think it's a nice, simple thing. And so that's always been kind of an obsession of mine. So I thought. I've always used the Mega Man handle, so it was just right there So that's how it started.
Like I said, I love it. And I went back and I had like the GameCube anniversary edition. I'm like, I don't remember this being this hard when I was a child. What is going on? So
yeah, I've got all those ones loaded up on my Switch, and I like I said, I go back to them every now and then just because they're so iconic and so timeless.
Yeah, I mean, I figure we're around the same age group. I'm in my early 40s. I figure you're late 30s ish.
Early 30s.
Early 30s. So yeah, you're even younger. So you got it even younger than I did, and just I played the Mega Mans, the Marios, and all of it. I was Nintendo faithful until the Sony PlayStation, and then became a Sony guy. So
yeah, in my house, there's always going to be a Nintendo and always going to be a Sony.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. So do you remember how you discovered craft beer? You said you were going on bike rides with your girlfriend. Is that where it started, or did it start before that?
It didn't really start before that. Like I started becoming aware that there was craft breweries out there, but I wasn't visiting them a lot. And my knowledge of them was just like whatever I saw at the liquor store, something that had like a funky can or something, I might grab it, but I didn't know much about the different styles. I started at this brewery called Steel and Oak. That was my first brewery that I visited. And that's because I lived down the street. So I'd gone to them, but other than that, my knowledge was very limited at the time. So I'd say, yeah, it was basically us kind of exploring the East Vancouver breweries. And then eventually we headed down to different like suburbs and different parts of the Lower Mainland where there's kind of congregation of breweries happening now in certain neighborhoods. And so we just started making a day out of that. That would be a good Saturday to go down to a few of the breweries and, try some samples and then head home and fill up your growler.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. I'll ask more about the Vancouver beer scene later, but speaking of your Instagram, kind of, what inspired you to stick with like your geekdom / personal, very much interests in your photos? Like, for example, your Lego Star Wars picture collection. What kind of gave you that inspiration to do that?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with just how much I enjoy collecting. And so I'm not only showing off some of the cool items that I pick up from time to time. I'm also highlighting some of the local breweries. So, I think that support is really cool. Like usually the stuff that I pick up, I'm a huge fan of. So I love giving back a little bit, because the industry does kind of thrive off of our support in a way, because I think that I get messages from people that don't know a lot about craft beer all the time, and they're like, where can I get that one? Like that sounds really good, because they might not even be aware of some of these crazy beers that they're putting out. So I think that it just became kind of like natural, especially because, for example, we have some local breweries that do beers called, like we had a brewery called Electric Bicycle just put out a Clone Wars stout with a picture of Darth Vader on it. So I have a Darth Vader helmet around, so it just made sense to pair them up. So, it kind of became a game to see how I could kind of pair the beer with different pieces of memorabilia, different comics, different video games, or whatever I had around the house. And also I get excited to share that stuff. Like before Instagram, I was doing YouTube reviews and stuff like that. So I think it's just, it became a creative outlet that, Instagram's nice. Everything's on the same level. It's very well organized, and it's just kind of like it's easy to put content out there. So I think that's where that kind of took over.
Awesome. So I noticed another thing on your Instagram, the Beardles.
Yeah.
What is that? Let us know.
I think a few people are wondering what the Beertles are. So me and 3 other fairly well-known Instagrammers from Vancouver have created this just little subgroup that we call the Beardles. It started off as just us having a private chat about we just chat about beer and mostly Star Wars, to be honest with you. Probably more Star Wars than beer, but there's a lot of both. And then we just named the group the Beertles, just as just a funny nickname. And then when we got together for a beer share, and we thought, hey, it'd be funny if we like kind of took a photo that kind of looked like a cover album. So we took the photo, we posted it, and everyone thought it was really funny because, a few of the guys in this group are pretty well known. One's Hopafed. I'm not sure if you've ever seen his account, but
no, I actually just recently added it, and I do plan on requesting an interview with him as well.
He's great. Yeah, and Aussie Craft Explorer, who also is fantastic, and my other friend, Father Figure Beer. So they're all very they all have a very specific niche. So we're all pretty different in what we post, and we all get along great. So we actually all met just strictly through Instagram and have become great friends. So it started with that, and then people thought that was really funny. So we thought, it's been a crappy year for everybody. So why don't we do a little beer giveaway just for kicks? So that's how that second image started, with the kind of the collage with the Let It Be. So we're actually going to be drawing a winner this Friday, and I think that'll be a lot of fun, just to kind of give back to some of the people that have supported our accounts and left nice comments on our photos and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to see who wins that. So that'll be really fun to drop off a nice prize for somebody.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love the concept. Myself, my videographer Phil, and a couple other friends, we always get, when we could, we would get together and do a beer share. We've experienced stuff. Phil went to Boston for work, came back with Sam Adams Utopia. I've gone elsewhere, and two of my other friends, we've traveled, and we'll bring back beer, and then we'll do a beer share. So we never really had a name for it, but I do. The name Beardles is hilarious, and so it's great. I'm sure the younger generation of those who watch the show probably don't even know who the Beatles are, but it's roughly that. So check out the Beatles. There's a long history of music with them. So,
I hope they know who they are.
Yeah, well, I have a 19-year-old nephew. I don't know. He listens to some stuff, and I'm like, this is not music. Sorry. So, but maybe that's the old curmudgeon in me at times. Who knows? So, I mean, you've gotten together, you're doing giveaways. Have you actually collabed with any local breweries to kind of do this? Or?
No, this is purely just us picking a couple of our favorite beers of the month and putting them together to create a curated prize pack of, just beers that we personally really enjoyed. And we each picked two of our favorite breweries to be represented in this. So we didn't pick just based on our favorite two. We also picked on, picked them to some of the most, ethical or, well ran businesses. Mm-hmm. We did kind of have a morality play in there. Like there's been a couple of breweries recently that have had some bad press for their poor management and some issues with systematic racism and stuff like that. Yep. So we said, we're not going to include any of those breweries, and we're going to be very careful about which breweries we choose to support going forward, because, realistically, there are so many of them out there, and we want to make sure we're supporting the right people, because at the end of the day, we're giving them free advertisement. I think it's important to know who you're supporting.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. If I see something, perfect example in Ontario, they were called Cowbell. Well, they're still called Cowbell. But, something happened. It came out. There was an incident that involved racial profiling. So whenever I go to Ontario, sorry, I'm not buying your products because I can't support your views. It's that simple.
Right.
It's the same thing. Everybody knows across the world, founders out of the US.
Yeah.
Just don't support them. And with more recent news, I'm confused because they never apologized for what happened. But now they're involving themselves in the NBA, so I'm confused.
Yeah, it is confusing, and I'm shocked that they haven't made a public statement yet. It's insane.
So, but support local, speak with your money. I'm all about that. It's what little I can do. People are like, "Oh, don't buy Amazon; it's a drop in the hat," and I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, Amazon has stuff that I need that I can't get anywhere else." So,
especially right now, where you're very limited about where you can go.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's the way of the world. It is what it is, and we do what we have to do to get along. But like you, I support local. Collective Arts is a Canadian company. I buy them. All my local breweries, I buy them when I have a chance. I don't buy InBev or Molson Coors almost ever. So it's a lot of fellow influencers and Instagrammers and YouTubers and podcasters are all about support local, and that's very important. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you see yourself collabing in the future? You get a little more popular. Could you see yourself collabing with a brewery?
In the sense of promotional, or like actually going in and spending some time in the brew house behind the scenes?
So let's say both. You say one is promotional, and then two, you get to go in and you get to brew your own kind of beer, like the Mega Beerman beer.
For sure. I would be interested, especially if it was a brewery that I know has that kind of geeky style at heart. There are a couple of those out here. I definitely would be interested, as long as I believed in their mission statement as a brewery, and I was a personal fan. I wouldn't want to give the sense that I was shilling for a brewery if I really didn't agree with the product. I have seen cases where Instagrammers have done that, and they're very conditional about what other people have to post about the beer, and you have to make a certain number of posts and all this stuff. I would hope that wouldn't creep into the equation, and that it would just be a fun thing. I got to know the guys there, and I got brought in, and it was just a fun afternoon. I would certainly be open to it on the condition that it was a genuine effort and not something that I was selling out or being perceived as selling out, because I've never been one to ask for any free stuff from any breweries, and I've made friends with people that work at some of the breweries, so there's a few free things here and there, but I've certainly never been one to expect that.
Yeah, no, the same way as our show, we do interviews, and brewers are nice enough to be like, here, take these home. And I insist, I'm like, look, I'm not looking for a handout. Maybe it's my age, maybe it's because I'm a little older and the way I was brought up. But the fact that you're even giving me your time is all I need. And when these guys are like, oh, here's 10 beers, take them home. I'm like, but they're like, hey, I just share them with friends, talk about them. I'm like, okay, sure. Like, I'm not going to, look a gift horse in the mouth, but at the same time, maybe it's just part of me trying to be humble, but I say, I'm your not so humble host, Carp. But at the same time, there is a natural humbleness to me, where the fact that these people are nice enough to give me beer and their time blows my mind. So just everybody I met in the craft industry, I haven't met any a-holes yet. I'm worried I'm going to, but as a year and change in, everybody I met's awesome. So
great, lucky. Yeah. That's great.
Okay. I've never been west of the Rockies personally, unfortunately. Well, I don't know if Banff is further than Calgary, but that's the furthest I've been. I head out, hey man, I'm heading to Vancouver. Give me a few places that you highly suggest I try.
Okay, Super Flux just opened a few months ago, and they have some of the best IPAs in Canada. So I highly recommend Super Flux. One of my favorites is at a place called Brewers Row in Port Moody. They're Twin Sails Brewing. You might have heard of them. They specialize in everything from hazy IPAs to pastry stouts. They do really, really killer milkshake IPAs. They're fantastic. Strange Fellows, also in East Van, is also like a really great spot that does Belgium style beers that I really like. Plus they have a really cool aesthetic, really inclusive folks. I know from experience that they've been inclusive with everyone, and they're very forward thinking as far as that kind of stuff. So they're a really good welcoming environment for everybody. You always feel at home there. And I think one that's really underrated is Lupolo Brewing, and that's also in East Van. So I'm a little biased because a lot of the best, I think a lot of the best ones are in East Van around where I live. But they do Italian style beers, which are like they'll do everything from Italian pilsners to wild sour ales. And one of their staples since they've opened was their black lime gose, which I think is really, really delicious. So I think those are like my top four.
Black Lime Goza sounds fantastic. Yeah. The only beer we have access to in Quebec from the Vancouver area is from Phillips, I want to say.
Yeah, Phillips. That is Vancouver Island. I mean, I could get a whole rant about Vancouver Island because there's so many good breweries over there too. That's a weekend trip for us. We got to take the ferry over. Okay. It's the only way. Yeah. So there's lots of great beers on Vancouver Island. Phillips is a staple. I am not surprised that you see their stuff. They're very, every beer lover here knows Phillips. I would say they don't do a lot of spectacular stuff, but they're solid. Like they're an institution in a way.
That's fantastic. And so I'm very adamant about this. I'm very jealous that America has this. Interprovincial beers is rare in Canada. I know it's something to do with some archaic 1700 beer law that they've never gotten off the books. I am adamant. I know Quebec's a little more difficult because we have language laws, but I am very adamant about Canada should be sharing its beer with each other.
For sure.
I should be able to go to my local beer store. All right, today I'm going to get 2 from Vancouver, 2 from Calgary, 2 from Saskatchewan, and go across the gamut. But an unfortunate reality is that's not an option here. So
yeah, we see a little bit of that stuff over here. Like we'll see some ci du Sil, I guess it's called.
Oh, Jujutel.
Yeah, I'm really bad with my. I probably am going to murder any pronunciation.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, we'll see that stuff. We'll see like Bellwoods out of Toronto, but it's pretty marked up. So there's no real reason to grab it other than curiosity because we have so much good local stuff. But I agree, it'd be nice to walk into a liquor store and have a whole section of beers from across Canada, but we're just not there yet. Maybe it'll change sometime.
We'll see. Hopefully the pandemic's changing a few minds. I know in Ontario, local breweries are allowed to deliver. Is BC the same? Can your local brewery deliver to you?
There's a lot of deliveries happening, and I think that's been really good. That got me through the first 3 or 4 months of the pandemic, just dropping off at the door. Because, realistically, the breweries are, they're getting it. If you're getting from the source, you're supporting them a hell of a lot more than picking it up at the liquor store. So.
Yeah, I'm super jealous. I think it's us and like maybe one other province in Canada that doesn't deliver, and everybody's like, "Come on! Like, do you not want these places to survive or what?"
No kidding. I can't believe that they're not delivering. That's insane.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Okay, so here's the caveat I've had to add to this question because unfortunately we're a worldwide pandemic. If you get vaccinated, if you want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. I'm pro-science personally.
Me too.
When it's safe to travel again, when there's like 1 COVID case in South Africa per month, let's say, it's safe to get in that cylindrical recycle air tube and go on a beercation again. Where are you going?
Oh, that's a good question. My pre-pandemic, my plans were, I had big plans. We were going to go to California for my bachelor party. So we would have been right in Anaheim and we would have been checking out all the breweries in Anaheim. So I was really looking forward to that. And then post wedding, we were going to go over to New York and, hit up Other Half and some of the Brooklyn breweries and stuff like that. So I'd still love to do that. That would be great. If possible, but like with the state of things over there, yeah, you're right. It's hard to imagine that being okay anytime soon, but I'd say I'd still love to do that. So I would still love to be able to complete my plans, follow through on them.
Yeah. Outside of Canada and America, could you see like maybe going to Germany or Belgium or the Czech?
Yeah, I think I'd always want to go to Germany to check out some of the beer scene there because I love a good classic German style beer. So I think, Germany would be high on the list for sure.
Awesome. Well, maybe we can all let's say 2022, all of us, everybody I've interviewed, we all get together and we head to the Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I was in Quebec not last year, in 2019, we were in Quebec and we had some amazing beer. So that was a good trip. Chester, my Chiweenie, he was all over the place. If you look at his profile from 2019, he was at all the breweries.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, most of them are dog friendly. Speaking of your Chiweenie, how much does he love beer? I mean,
he doesn't drink it, but he loves hanging out at the breweries though. He seriously, like, if now we're at the point where if we're walking by a brewery, like he wants to go in and go hang out, but we're not that dog friendly here. Okay. But because of the pandemic, they've been building all these outside spaces at all the breweries. They were basically finally allowed to do that. Like, you talk about archaic liquor laws. We have some in Vancouver.
Yeah.
That are pretty rough. And one was that none of the breweries in Vancouver could have patios. So now every brewery in Vancouver has a patio because they needed to expand the space. And people are still out using the patios, even though it's winter here and it's, -1. Yeah, people are still sitting outside drinking.
You guys get winter light compared to us.
So. No, it's not. It's nothing. Don't let anyone ever tell you we have a bad winter here. It's beautiful. Yeah,
I have friends who have been out there and they got a snowstorm and your train system had to shut down because it wasn't used to snow.
Yeah.
So it's we're lucky most of our train system is underground, but we are getting an above ground system, which is supposed to have been designed by the same guys from Vancouver. So I'm worried because we'll easily get 30 centimeters like that. So,
yeah.
But 90%, but 90% of those who still have jobs are working from home right now. So I'm not worried about that. I'm personally lucky enough to be working from home.
Yeah.
I don't know about yourself, but
Yeah, ditto. I work from home most of the time. I'm still in the office sometimes, but
Yeah,
not as much these days.
no, it's honestly cheaper. I mean, I'm not spending gas money. My insurance is cheaper. It's, it sucks that I can't go out and hang out with my friends because I don't want to give them something that I might have and then they pass
Yeah.
it to the elderly parents. But that's just generally being a responsible, fact understanding adult. So,
Yeah, that's the tough part.
yeah.
So the social aspect
Yeah.
is tough, but we do a lot of these online things, and like I said, during the pandemic, we started an online book club, book and beer club. So we do book and beer pairings. So in a way, we've found these kind of creative outlets to connect with other people, and there are some people I've become closer with throughout the pandemic. So there are silver linings, I guess.
Well, it is noted that every time there is a pandemic or some sort of plague, that the most creativity humanity has is during this time because you're sitting at home and you're just creating. So,
For sure.
and it's it sucks. All of us are social creatures. I would love to be in Vancouver drinking with yourself and craft beer Yogini
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whoever else I get to
yeah,
speak to in Vancouver.
for
I
sure.
have family and friends in Calgary. I want to go back there. It's just it's safer not to, and that's the way it should be. I'm not traveling anywhere, so that's personally my choice. I will suggest though, if you're ever in Toronto with your Chiweenie, go to Black Lab Brewing. It's just beer and dogs. That's
Yeah, I heard we didn't make it out there last time we were
yeah,
there, but I heard about that place and it was great. We were kind of overwhelmed the last time we were in Toronto because there's a lot of breweries.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just as a show when the numbers were low, we were actually in Toronto, and we interviewed 6 breweries in 3 days, and I was exhausted, but I drank a lot of good beer. I think I brought home about 100 beers, so it was a good time, and
Yeah, major
so
success.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So where do you see Mega Beerman and the Beer Tools growing? How can you see yourself growing those brands?
Um Growing my own brand.
Your own brand and the Beer Tools, kind of
Oh,
your
just
your
to
your quarter of the Beer Tools. How do you
I
picture growing
yeah,
that?
I think the main thing is to not focus on followers because with the algorithms and all that stuff, I feel like you kind of hit these plateaus, and it can be really hard to add a lot of followers. And I don't know how people climb so steadily. I feel like there's a lot of effort involved. So I think just keeping it as a hobby and a creative outlet and not worrying about the followers too much is the important thing. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to just do something creative, do something fun, make a few people laugh, bring awareness to local brands, and bring awareness to geeky things that I love. Like if there whether it's a new Star Wars book that's out that people might not know about, or a new video game that I think is cool from an indie developer, stuff like that. So. I don't try to focus on the followers so much. I mean, of course, we all like it when we get a few new ones, and part of the fun of a contest is grabbing a few new followers. But yeah, at the end of the day, I want to try to keep this as I intended it when I started, which is to make friends within the community, support local business, and just have a laugh or two. So I feel like that to me is more important than necessarily growing. That being said, I'm going to continue to plug away at it, and anyone who wants to follow along, I'm more than happy to have them. So
Awesome. So speaking of indie game studios, our very own videographer Phil is actually one of the head developers of Spearhead Games.
okay,
They're out of Montreal, and they
yeah,
made the 2016 Canadian Independent Game of the Year. So
which one was that?
it's called Stories: The Path of Destinies.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
played it. Yeah,
Very cool. Check it out. It's
yeah,
only like
yeah, yeah.
$20 on the PlayStation Store. So,
Sweet.
it's another support local. We're
Yeah,
supporting indie artists, so support them as well.
for sure.
Awesome. This has been a fantastic talk. I really appreciate you once again giving us your time today.
Hey, I had a
Let my
great time.
let my viewers know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Mega Beerman, with the period in the middle. That's on Instagram. And if you want to follow my dog, who has a lot of fun beer adventures as well, he's Chester the Chiweenie. Chester period the period Chiweenie. So those are the two accounts that I run. So I hope you follow along, and hope to see you guys on there. And next time we can have a beer, and maybe virtual or maybe in person, but it'll be after the dry month.
Like I've told everyone, I've been interviewing it. When it's time, we will be getting together and we will be drinking beer on a patio, or as we call them in Quebec, a terrace.
Yeah,
So we are. I am positive. I am being optimistic. We all will be together again. probably by Q4 of 2021 to start, when we can all get the vaccine. For those who choose to get the vaccine, and just get together again and enjoy some beer once again.
For sure. If you ever
Especially
make
local.
it out this way, I'll take you on a brewery tour gladly.
Yourself, Craft Beer Yogini, we'll just all have to get together and drink a beer, whether it be on the ferry between Vancouver Island, back and forth. Sure. It sounds great. As for us, at allbeerinside.com. Sorry, allbeerinside.com is the website. At allbeerinside is on all the social media. Hopefully the merch store will be up sooner rather than later. It'll just be simple t-shirts and coffee mugs to start. And as I say at the end of all episodes, drink craft, not crap. Thank you once again. I really appreciate it.